Valvegos's got a certain particular set of skills which will benefit us as a team, but no one's calling him an absolute goal machine. No one's saying that this is the man that will fire Manchester United to a title. He's just a bit of a stopgap until we get a first-choice striker in. And he maybe would even be a good off-the-bench or rotation option if we kept hold of him. But United have got to identify that big number 9. Who's going to be the guy? And I think long-term, real long-term, you're looking at someone 23, 24, 25. We don't want someone who's 35. We've done that a couple of times. Zlatan, Cavani, Ronaldo. Hasn't really worked out. But there might be a middle ground. And in that middle ground, there can be someone that's at least a little bit more. Not every signing needs to be a 12-year signing. You might have someone in the Cantona mould that sticks around for 4 or 5 years, wins a lot and pisses off. And there are a lot of rumours coming out of Tottenham, again, that Harry Kane wants to leave the club. Manchester United need a striker. Could Kane be the man? I've not been sold on Harry Kane entirely for a few reasons and some of the things that he does. But I think with the way Manchester United is shaping up, is there a possibility that this could be a bit of a match that works? Kane is a proven Premier League goal scorer. Can't argue that. It's absolutely the case. And despite playing for a Spurs side that hasn't won anything, he's consistently proven to be one of the best strikers in the world, consistently returns excellent individual goal-scoring numbers. Could he do it under Erik ten Hag? Now let's look at perhaps why United might want to sign Harry Kane. So the first word that comes to mind is goals. And that's the obvious reason. His goal record is ridiculous. He's got 62 assists, which is nice. But he's got 265 goals in 414 games. He's won 3 Premier League Golden Boots. And from 14-15 onwards, he's scored 20 goals every season. In 17-18, he scored 41. He's currently on 17 this season. And at last count, it was January. Now, of course, he's a serious goal scorer, proven Premier League goal scorer. And he's in a pretty good age, peak-ish. You've probably either seen the best of him or seeing the best of him. He's probably not going to kick on from now. Generally, strikers score less with each year past their 30th birthday. Zlatan doesn't count. He's different on a lot of levels. But generally, that's the way the trend goes. They score less after their 30th birthday. So I hope United think that is in mind. I wouldn't expect his scoring stats to start climbing. They can maintain or they can fall off. How would he work in Ten Hag's system? Because he would score goals, right? Now, he is a good carrier of the ball, and he drops deep. And the depth of his dropping in, I kind of like, and I kind of get irritated by it. I was irritated by it because there was no one going in beyond when you watch him for England. Marcus Rashford is the obvious person to do that, and for whatever reason, Gareth Southgate's not feeling him. Marcus Rashford would definitely be the person that would be looking to go beyond, as would Anthony, if he was playing up front for Manchester United. But it's the dropping deep into the zones he drops into. Could he play with Bruno? Because he tends to occupy the spaces that Bruno would occupy. He has got finishing with both feet. He has got finishing with his head. He is a target man that has got an excellent hold-up. He can play with his back to goal. He can bring others into the game. He doesn't mind holding off others whilst playmaking. It's a hell of a skill to have. This season, he's created 35 chances, the second highest in the Premier League as of the 20th of January. That shows that he doesn't just score. He does create chances and he brings others into the game. In 2021, Kane and Son set the record for the most goal contributions between two players with 14. Could he link up with the rest of the players that are in the squad? His contract. From summer, he's only got a year left on his contract. If Spurs are going to sell him for any meaningful amount of cash, this summer is when they're going to do that. Daniel Levy, the Bond villain, chairman of Spurs, everyone loves a deal. But this guy seems like he lives for the deal. Very clever at getting the money, the maximum amount of money in a deal. As we saw with Berbatov and even with Carrick. I don't think you get Harry Kane cheap. He's obviously tried to leave recently once to Manchester City, and I think that door is now closed with the signing of Erling Haaland. But I think this is a pivotal season. Kane's either going to sign an extension, which makes him seriously well paid, or he will be sold. And at 29 years of age, a player that has won nothing in his career, he might think he's done all he needs to do in a Tottenham shirt. And I think Levy would probably rather cash in on him, get as much money as possible and try and look for a post-Harry Kane Spurs than he would to let him see him walk out on a free. Now, United might pay a little bit over the odds. 1, he's English, 2, he's a goal scorer, and 3, it's Spurs that you're dealing with. So that adds up to the fact that United are going to have our pants pulled right off. But he should be discounted. And I think if you could get him in the 70 to 80 million range, I think I'd call that a win. His injury record, it's not as bad as people think. He's only failed to play less than 40 games in all comps twice. In 1920, he failed to make 40, he played 34, and in 16-17, he played 38. If United are looking for a backup number 9 that can play along with him, whether that's a Wout Weghorst or something like that, we should be sound. You can give him the occasional night off. He hasn't had a serious injury since the 1920 season when he was out for 14 games with a thigh injury. In my head, I think glass ankles when I think Kane, but it's not actually shown in the evidence. Now, there is a chance he stays at Spurs. There is a chance Real Madrid might fancy him if they think Benzema's coming to the end of his time. He's all rejected plenty of offers to leave Spurs, and he's also very desperately tried to leave Spurs as well. So there is a chance he does it again. And Daniel Levy is facing a lot of backlash from Spurs fans. If he sells Kane, that might be the final nail in the coffin. If he sells Kane and uses it to fund a rebuild, I'm not sure the sort of money you're trying to get for Harry Kane would be enough. Would you pay 125 for him? That might be what they want. I don't necessarily know he's worth that. 29 years of age, hasn't won a trophy. How much does that play on Harry Kane's mind? You could see how desperate he was to get to Manchester City. I think that shows that there's some ambition still left in him. I think he also wants to be the Premier League's all-time leading goal scorer. But what would it mean if he's never lifted the trophy? Ten Hag, the potential sale of Manchester United happening before the summer, that makes Manchester United a very dangerous proposition and probably a very attractive proposition again. If he wants to win things, if he wants to break that record, Erik ten Hag, Manchester United might be the place to do it. City have got Haaland. Don't think Newcastle are quite there yet. I don't know if they'd push the boat out for him. Maybe they'd look for him to be someone who leads them to a little bit of glory. Liverpool won't be going to Liverpool. You know, they've just spent heavily on about 10 forwards, plus they've got Firmino and Nunes. Manchester United need a number 9. Harry Kane might be the one. And I didn't mention Chelsea, but between me recording this video and this video being released, Chelsea have probably signed 4 strikers, so they've got them. I'm sceptical on Harry Kane. I'm not sitting here thinking he'd be perfect for us, but is he an option? Definitely an option. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would it work? Does his age work? Or does it just depend on how much Daniel Levy wants to bend us over for him? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.